Did you know that Jeff Bezos makes more money in 2 minutes, the amount of time it takes us to brush our teeth, than most people do in over 4 years? Yeah. Well, why really is it though that some people get so much more done in the same 24 hours than other people? Why is it that Elon Musk can launch rockets before most entrepreneurs even successfully launch a new morning routine? Or why Bill Gates decides which world issues to tackle before the average entrepreneur even decides which task to tackle on the to-do list? If you're an entrepreneur and you kind of feel like you are ambitious, but you feel scattered or maybe just spread thin, and you have no idea why, then this video is for you. Because when I was a new entrepreneur, I was struggling with the exact same things. And I knew that I was really ambitious and, I wanted to create not only an income for myself, but also impact the world and actually help people. And yet I felt almost useless, if I'm going to be completely honest, because I worked so hard, yet felt like I got so little done. And in fact, I worked 14-hour days, 7 days a week, sorry, 6 days a week at 17. And I even sacrificed sleep to get more done, just to squeeze out more work. And in the end, I would maybe get 6 hours of sleep if I was lucky. And because this was so painful for me, because I so strongly wanted to actually break through this big wall that it seemed like was in front of me and actually make meaningful progress, because I was struggling with this so much, I decided to really go all in on investing in mentors and also studying the most successful people and just throwing myself over loads of books, honestly. And eventually I realized that actually the most successful and productive and fulfilled people, they don't try and do more fast. They actually try and do fewer things well. And to illustrate this for you, there's actually a quote from Tim Ferriss. And the reason I'm using Tim Ferriss here is because he's known, after all, for being the person who works or tries to work the littlest amount of time that he can while making as much as possible. Or, at least he's the author of the 4-hour work week anyway. And the point here is that he has a quote where he said, and I will paraphrase him here, that most people wake up and they try and look for all the things they can do. Whereas I wake up, he said, and I go on a walk, I eat breakfast, maybe I read a book, I meditate, he said. And basically, my whole goal is to slow down and take a look around. And then he said, and what I'm trying to find is basically the one domino that I can push that then will make everything else either easier or irrelevant. And that was just mind-blowing to me, because here I was chasing all these little dominoes, trying to push them all over, check everything off, and yet here he was telling me that he would just wake up and take it easy and just read a book and do all these things and maybe just try and find the one domino to topple over. It was mind-blowing to me. But really, what he was talking about there is the difference between efficiency and effectiveness. And Peter Drucker said, being efficient, and I will paraphrase him here once again, efficiency is doing things right, whereas effectiveness is doing the right things. So basically, toppling over the right dominoes. And the reason we entrepreneurs often feel so scattered and overwhelmed and spread thin is because we feel like we have to. We just feel like toppling over all these dominoes is so urgent and we have to do it. And it also provides us with, a quick slam. And so it's satisfying and makes us feel productive. Yet, obviously, it's not really what we want. And sooner or later, I realized the root cause of this, why I felt so spread thin, was because I didn't truly know myself. I know that sounds silly, but let me explain. Basically, the reason I was trying to topple over all of these dominoes was because I didn't realize that there was one specific domino that would align with my big domino. And I didn't know what my big domino was, and that's exactly why I was so ineffective. And basically, your big domino is the big vision you have for your life and business, like the main thing you want to build in the world. And because I never got clear on what this big domino was, it wasn't there for me to align. It wasn't there for me to align the small domino with the big dominoes. And so no wonder I felt so spread thin, because they all looked the same to me, but clearly they're not. And so I realized that actually I had to first, instead of trying to do more, I had to first slow down and drop everything, and first actually get to truly know myself. So basically, what really truly mattered to me in life, and what I wanted to build, and what business I wanted to build, what my values were, so I could actually have an inner compass to guide myself to these dominoes, and also what my unique strengths were. Because some people say hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. And that's true, but when you combine talent and hard work, that's when you create magic. Because it looks like hard work to others, but feels like play to you. And that's something Naval Ravikant said. And when you're doing that, when you're combining your talents with hard work, because after all, we're all different, right? It's kind of silly to think that, you know, as fish, if you found out you're a fish as an analogy, to try and compare yourself to the birds, of course. Everyone is different and everyone has unique strengths. And this is something Naval Ravikant talks about quite a lot. No one can compete with you on being you. So basically, when you lean into what is true to you, and basically the one thing, as billionaire Gary Keller calls it, when you find what your one thing is, the one most single most impactful action for you to work on each day, then toppling over this domino each day makes it so much easier to just create this chain reaction and actually change your life. And basically, the one thing for me today, for example, is preparing for and filming this video, because my strengths lie in people and ideas. And that's exactly what I'm leveraging right now. And by the way, that's super simplified, of course. But the point is that, I created this idea. I love creating ideas. Most people would be drained waking up each day and, planning out this whole entire video and standing here and filming. But I love it because, for one, I'm working with my ideas. And for two, I'm trying to inspire and educate people and work with people and help people. And that's also why I've created a community, which I've got below, to help more people and actually guide people as well. And to illustrate this point for you further, most people say, don't put all your eggs in one basket. And who was once the richest man in the world, Andrew Carnegie, actually didn't agree with that. Instead, and I will paraphrase him here again, I know I'm paraphrasing so many people, but Andrew Carnegie said, most people think, don't put all your eggs in one basket. And then he said, well, I don't agree. No, put all your eggs in one basket, but then watch that basket. Because if you imagine that you were a bird and you laid your eggs in loads of different baskets, then no wonder as entrepreneurs we feel so overwhelmed and scattered, because we're trying to tend to all these eggs or tasks. But instead, if you once again find what your one crucial, most impactful needle moving thing is, you can work on that thing every day. And actually, what you'll find, as I found in my life, is that all these urgent things that you think you have to tend to, they actually disappear. Because when you're focusing on your single most important thing, then everything aligns. You no longer have to chase all these things align. And it's no longer that work or life works against you, life works for you. And as a final example and analogy, imagine basically, so this is the sun, as I'm sure you can tell because of my incredible drawing skills. Jokes aside, this is a sun and this is a magnifying glass. So basically, if you imagine that the sun is like your attention and the magnifying glass is like intention, then it's only by combining these two that you can start sparks and even start a fire. So you have your sun, once again, your attention, and you have to be intentional with how you concentrate your attention. And your goal, once again, is to concentrate your attention on your one thing. And then that's how you can create sparks and start a fire. So that's all for today. And I hope that really helped you, basically not needing any longer to try and search for hacks and tactics, because I just gave you the fundamental root cause of why we feel scattered. We don't truly know ourselves, so we have no idea how to align our dominoes. In other words, how to align our life and work with who we truly are. So if you'd like more help with actually knowing yourself, I do have a link to my community down below. But as always, whatever you decide to do, I wish you all the best. Genuinely. Until next time, ciao.